Yo, what up folks, welcome to the first Now Ninja Samurai movies for the channel. I've started with a cult classic, American comedy, aka American Ninja, hilariously bad but so entertaining. I wanted to start with this movie in particular because many guests on the channel and past radio shows always mention the American Ninja movies. Personally, I think American Ninja 2 is the best and 4 being the worst, but we'll get to those in future videos. American Ninja though is a delightfully shitty entertaining fun movie, so bad and cringe in parts you will wet yourself. Maybe watch it wearing a diaper. I'm going to highlight a few scenes, share some comedy moments and not give too many spoilers away, but there's going to be some. So to give you an overview of the plot, Michael Dudikoff here on the left is the central protagonist and the American Ninja. His character's called Joe. He's kind of your loner bad boy rebel type, and he's silent and brooding at first. He has little dialogue, and Steve James on the right here, who plays Corporal Jackson, he becomes his friend, and he's very much the other protagonist of the movie as well. In my opinion, Steve James makes these series just as much as Michael Dudikoff. Steve James went on to star in American Ninja 2 again with Dudikoff, and American Ninja 3 with David Bradley. He also co-starred with Michael Dudikoff in the 1986 movie Avenging Force, which I've yet to see, but I'll cover it for the channel. I've heard very good things about it. So a positive area that I do want to talk about with the movie that I think is often overlooked is the soundtrack. It's very classic 80s with the opening, but then it changes to an oriental flavour to introduce the Black Star Ninja, who you see here, and his army of ninjas. They then go on to ambush a US military convoy. For its time, this is a good example of using a score to change the tone and atmosphere within a movie. It presents a sudden arrival of danger at the hands of the Black Star Ninja, and considering a limited budget available, it was a simple way to immerse the viewer, and it works. You're already expecting and wondering what the ninja are going to do and how. So one of the most funniest standout moments for me with American Ninja was when you see the Black Star Ninja ambush the US convoy. There's some magical moments such as Joe throwing various tools from the truck at the rebel soldiers, and a performance by those actors. It's totally over the top. They go beyond the mile man to oversell it. It's so funny. There's one particular scene as well where one of the GIs fires an M16 and this ninja magically jumps backwards. Absolute pure cheese gold. However, mixed in all this comedy, there's a really good action scene. Two of the ninjas use some wire to take out one of the GIs before killing him. It's actually really well done for the time, and it's a good example of well-trained assassins working together quickly and effectively, and American Ninja does a good job of showcasing this for the audience. Scenes such as these can be easy to forget with all the hilarity and comedy that happens. For example, Dudikoff's entrance as Joe has him fighting back against the ninjas by catching arrows with the handle, I think it's of a fork or a spade, something like that. Yes, really, you've got to see it. That piece of magic is something to witness for sure, and I'm struggling to contain myself from bursting into absolute laughter as I'm talking about American Ninja. And this is a perfect segue to talk about one very famous scene. Whenever you chat about the American Ninja series with anyone, they always remember this scene. It's one guest on the show have always talked to me about, and that's the famous scene with Joe with a bucket on his head, pointing to himself, daring Jackson to challenge him. It's before they become friends, but man, this has to be probably one of the most memorable parts of the entire movie. So funny, and just to repeat myself, you've got to witness it, folks. So are there any other memorable moments within American Ninja? There's so many, honestly. It's full of them. That's why it's such an entertaining movie. It's pure escapism, it really is, and I don't think it ever intended to be anything else. For example, the ninja training camps, they always present the ninjas as this highly killer force, really well trained, and when you see the sequences, it's just basic kata, basic low and mid blocks. It looks like any beginner karate class, and it just has the opposite effect. So what's the camera work like in the movie? Well, it's not bad, it catches most of the action nicely. The martial arts, well, all I can say is it's pretty notable who is trained and who isn't, which is the best way I can put it. So what's the acting like with American Ninja? It's pretty cheesy and cringe, but times have moved on since then. I don't think the movie ever took itself too seriously. The late great Steve James in the role of Jackson, as I mentioned earlier, he steals the whole movie and he has good screen presence. The corny French villain Senor Ortega has one of the worst French accents in film history. Some of his dialogue and delivery are instant wet your pants classics, such as the way he shouts "American" during the end battle when Joe confronts him and the Black Star Ninja. I think it's at the end where he really amps up his villain persona and goes all out. So what are my overall thoughts of American Ninja? Well, I can look back and laugh, but American Ninja's the first in what was and still is an entertaining legacy series. It helped set up many other following movies, and it encouraged people to garner interest in martial arts and action movies. There's something to be said for pure escapism and the fun to be had with these movies, and they also tie into the fantasy and mythos surrounding ninjas. Is American Ninja the most gritty and realistic martial arts action movie you'll ever see? Of course not, but it's a great introduction if you have never sat down and watched a ninja movie before. It's pure enjoyment. So much fun. I want to thank you all for watching. I shall see you in the next video for American Comedy 2, the cosplay standoff, otherwise known as American Ninja 2, the confrontation. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to support the channel, subscribe and hit the bell. See you next time. Peace out.